Indeed, as WNN begins today to simultaneously broadcast via television, the internet, and even the 70,000 electronic billboards like this one, it seems almost providential that such technology is coming online at this exact moment. The all-too-real threat of nuclear war has just about everyone on the planet glued to the latest news. Whether it is the United States, Russia, China, or Australia, we all seem to be realizing, for perhaps the first time, that we are all indeed in exactly the same boat. Well, hopefully, this new technology will help us to truly come together before we annihilate one another. For WNN, this is Janet Shutt.
The most compelling aspect of the rapture is its imminence. It could literally occur at any moment. And as the scriptures tell us, there will be no doubt when that moment arrives. The entire planet will be shaken by a thunderous shout and a piercing trumpet blast. Then, in cemeteries around the world, graves will split open, and Christians who have died will rise from the ground. Not as decaying flesh and bone, but as living human beings with transformed bodies, ready to meet Christ in the air. An instant later, millions of people from every walk of life will vanish, as they too will encounter their Lord between heaven and earth. Regardless of age or nationality, every man, woman, and child who is taken has one thing in common. Each of them believe that Jesus Christ is the Savior of the human race.
What comes next? For starters, people are going to try to explain away the rapture with all sorts of wild theories, like possibly global warming or UFOs. So-called religious leaders are going to come out and say the church is still around because they didn't disappear. Whatever scenario the world uses to explain the rapture, you can be assured it is a lie.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you this breaking news. There are reports coming in from across the globe that suddenly hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people have just disappeared, vanished. 1 second they were there and then suddenly they were gone. This is not a joke. There are reports of car wrecks, plane crashes and massive traffic jams. People everywhere are running around in a panic looking for those that have disappeared. Let's now go to Pete at our Washington News Bureau and see if there is any news from the White House.
Thank you, Seb. From our sources at the White House, which we're trying to verify at this very moment, it appears that the President and the First Lady are both among the missing that are disappeared. Sources say that they were on Air Force One returning from this weekend's economic conference that was held in Davos, Switzerland. And when the President's Chief of Staff, Steve Gagnon, went to alert the President about the reports of people vanishing, they were nowhere to be found. Furthermore, per the same sources, the Vice President and his wife are also among the missing. According to the White House Press Secretary Paul Hicks, the Speaker of the House, Robert Carson, is currently meeting with various cabinet members, heads of the military, and with the leaders of the UK, French, Russian, and Chinese governments, and will be shortly addressing the nation and the whole world.
Thank you, Pete. While we are waiting to hear from the Speaker of the House, Carson, let's check in with Ali in our Rome Bureau.
Thank you, Seb. We have spoken to Vatican spokesman Federico Lombardi, and he assures us that the Pope is still here and that he has personally spoken to His Holiness. Therefore, this could not be the so-called rapture that many religious leaders around the world are proclaiming. Currently, the Holy Pontiff is meeting with the members of the Roman Curia, along with several high-ranking bishops and cardinals. An official statement from the Vatican is expected to be issued shortly, possibly even from the Pope himself.
Thank you, Ali. Well, there you have it, folks. Certainly the most astounding news I have ever reported. I have not seen anything like this since 9/11. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Only the Bible has the truth about the rapture and what is going to come after the rapture. How do we know this is true? Because the Bible already tells us that this is going to happen, and this was written thousands of years ago.
How could one man disappear from his seat in an airplane, leaving another passenger just sitting there? Why were they taken? Why were we left behind? For WNN, I'm Janet Shutt.
One world, one network. This is WNN.
We've just been able to establish a link-up with Bronson Pearl, who is now reporting from near the Western Wall in Old Jerusalem.
Obviously, Helen, today is a date that will be remembered forever. As long as any of us live, we'll all remember exactly where we were at noon today. The entire world is in a total state of shock. The entire world, except for one man, that is. As reported yesterday, European Union President Franco Macaluso predicted that missiles and bombs were no match for the will of united mankind. Well, today, nuclear weapons that were in the air vanished just seconds after millions of people did the same. A tape of President Macaluso on the Mount of Olives earlier today has just been released to WNN. We take you to that now.
My children, I come to you today not in the name of another, but in my own name. Let there be no mistake and no misunderstanding. I was the one who created you, who loved you, and watched you grow. Today you know the truth. You know that had I not intervened, you would have destroyed yourself, my creation. But that intervention has come at a cost. I have had to remove some of the children because they had chosen the way of hate. But today is the dawn of a new era, an era of peace and prosperity. I am the God of your fathers. I am that I am.
One world, one network. This is WNN.
In the past 36 hours, this world and all of us living in it have had a lot to deal with. But as incredible as the events themselves may have been, they pale in comparison to the bigger picture.
I think it is very important that the citizens of the United States, and indeed of the whole world, understand something very clearly. Without the direct intervention of God Himself in the affairs of mankind, those of us unfortunate enough to still be alive right now would be living in nothing less than an apocalyptic nuclear desert.
It was incredible. Clearly a direct act of intervention by God Himself. Airplanes simply turned and returned home. Missiles that were soaring overhead, bombs that were falling, even bullets in the air suddenly vanished.
1 minute it was all out war, the next minute it was all out peace. I saw it with my own eyes, and I still can't believe it.
Only later did we learn that the Messiah himself had returned to Jerusalem at that very moment.
On the other side of the war, the advancing armies were equally shocked and equally thankful for the incredible events on the battlefield yesterday.
It was truly incredible. Little did we know that Allah Himself had come to save the entire world. Praise be to Allah.
But thanks to the Messiah, not one nuclear missile ever found its target. Praise be to God from saving us from ourselves.
Whoever you are, wherever you are hearing these words now, thanks to God. Period.
Across America and around the world, you're watching WNN with Bronson Pearl and Helen Hanna.
Hello, I'm Bronson Pearl. Helen is on special assignment. As the situation in Europe and the Middle East continues to look better than ever, many are hoping that events will take another quantum leap sometime soon. President Macaluso has been meeting with world leaders in Bonn, Germany for the past 9 hours, and an announcement is expected any time now. Of course, we'll bring you that live when it happens. Right now, with more on the situation in Bonn, here's Sam Metcalf.
It has now been confirmed that foreign ministers from the European Union, as well as leading religious dignitaries from around the world, have been meeting all night in this German government building. The attendees began arriving late last evening, apparently being summoned by the man we had all believed to be the European Union president. In fact, however, it is now agreed by virtually the entire planet that he is much more than that.
Sir, can you comment on your meetings with President Macaluso?
Well, even with the planet being saved from the brink of almost certain destruction, and the haters of peace and unity have been removed, the most incredible sign we have seen has been the realization by the entire world that President Franco Macaluso is indeed who he says he is. I think we can say that we are, yes, living in biblical times. The Messiah of Israel, of the whole world, is living with us, and he's living today. And thanks to him, we are living in peace.
He brought peace. That we knew was how we would recognize the true Messiah. He would bring peace. Did the one they called Jesus, did he bring peace? No. Only the true Messiah can do that.
I've just received word that we're ready to go live to the embassy in Bonn.
As you can see on the monitor, the Messiah has achieved something today that no person has been able to do before now. He has brokered a full and comprehensive peace agreement between two brothers who have been separated for more than 6,000 years. This 7-year far-reaching agreement, however, goes beyond a simple peace between Arabs and Jews. It establishes the basis for a newly agreed-to constitution for planet Earth. The Messiah will speak to the world shortly about these incredible developments. Thank you.
Oh yes, a 7-year peace treaty between people who have been at war for 4,000 years is clearly nothing short of a miracle. When we come back, we'll talk to our chief political correspondent in Washington about just what all of this means.
Do you have any idea who he is and what he's capable of? You worship him or you die. That's your choice.
Today is your day. I am about to show you wonders beyond anything you have ever imagined. I am here to lead you into a whole new world of possibilities. In this new world, you will discover the powers of divinity that I have buried deep within your soul. But you must go together as a single creation. You know how I have removed the tares from the wheat. But even having seen this, there are those who have chosen not to join in this great moment. It is as if they are cancer cells in our collective body. And I tell you today that until they have been removed, you cannot experience what I have prepared for you.
In every nation, the reaction to the Messiah's speech is the same: down with the haters. I'm reporting live tonight from just outside County Stadium, where tens of thousands of people gathered to watch the Messiah's speech on the big screen only a few hours ago. And as the crowds poured out onto the streets afterward, we saw tremendous demonstrations, not only of the excitement about what lies ahead, but also of the anger toward those who are still standing in the way.
Yeah, I don't see how these haters think they can put themselves and their paranoid ideas ahead of the rest of the whole world. Let's face it, these are the same narrow-minded religious ideas that have kept the world away from peace for far too long. And now the Messiah is finally here, and they're standing in his way. It's wrong.
I can hardly wait. The Messiah says that we're all gods, that we have unbelievable powers within us all.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, whatever it takes, we gotta get rid of those haters that are standing in our way.
And that's exactly what's happening around the world. Christians everywhere are being hunted down and arrested. They've been taken...
They refuse to renounce Christ. We face another dawn to reach for the courage of love. As the faint-hearted run for the shelter of home, there's a question that hangs in the air. Is the years away from the
reports continue to pour in. Jails across the world are filled to the brim with those arrested tonight. At this facility in Paris, world citizens are so enraged with those they truly believe to be standing in the way of world peace that they are continuing to try to attack them over the prison gates. Meanwhile, the hunt for New Testament Bibles continues, and the once revered books are being burned from one side of the world to the other. What is truly ironic is the fact that the very book that had once divided the world is now bringing it together. Indeed, we are now witnessing the very unification of mankind that President Macaluso predicted before any of this began. The world is indeed united in a common hatred of Christianity and of Jesus Christ. And that's the point I want to make publicly right now.
I'm Bronson Pearl, and I always tell you the truth as I know it. And I must tell you this evening, I must tell the world that you're making a terrible, terrible mistake here. President Macaluso is not the Messiah. He is not here to
What's
save
going
the
on?
planet from the forces of
this.
evil.
Kill
I
this
can
feed
tell
now
you that
before our
right
12
now.
seconds
The
are up.
opposite is
Cut to his shot in Washington.
He is the
But don't let Pearl
embodiment of evil itself. He is the one the Bible calls the Antichrist. Those Bibles that are being burned right now are not being burned because they are promoting hate. Not even close. They are being burned
Take
because
him!
they tell the
Take
truth.
him!
Because they tell the truth. He
Kill
is
the
the
sound.
Antichrist.
This guy has nothing to say worth listening to.
Macaluso is the Antichrist.
Throughout the day today, we have witnessed an entire world united in a state of complete and total euphoria. The dreams and hopes of our world for a new age of love and unity are being realized in such a sudden and powerful way that the tribulations of only a few days ago are but a distant memory. Now, the collective soul of mankind looks only ahead with hope and anticipation. It is the world's biggest global party, and there is no doubt that everyone on the planet is now familiar with the name of the man of the hour. He is the man we knew as Franco Macaluso, but whom we know now to be the Messiah of all mankind.